Hi, welcome to your first video on quadratic graphs. You will be able to identify the parts of quadratic graphs, and eventually you will be able to graph y equals ax squared. What do you need to know about quadratic graphs? The first thing that you need to know is that they are in fact nonlinear. They have a rate of change that is not constant. And it has a U-shaped curve called a parabola, which is kind of what you saw on the beginning screen. And then y equals ax squared plus bx plus c is the standard form, and you will learn more about that as we get into it. What are the parts of a parabola? Here are two pictures of parabola. Here's one, and here's the other one. Obviously, one is flipped upside down, and the other is not. But f of x, or y, equals x squared is the parent function, which means that's the starting point for all types of parabolas. So we will be using that. This is what you can see here. This would be in fact, the parent function. Then there is symmetry involved on these types of graphs. So if you look at the picture, I could draw a line going all the way down the middle here, and that is what's being reflected over that y-axis. It doesn't necessarily be on the y-axis every time. In this case it is, but there is symmetry with a parabola. And then the axis of symmetry is when it hits on the y-axis, things like that. But there is symmetry there for each and every parabola. The next important piece that you need to know is called a vertex. A vertex is the point in your graph where it's stopping, or the starting point. Right here is that point, and notice that is right on where your symmetry it kicks in, and that will always happen. The vertex will either be what's called a minimum or a maximum, and that's where if it's the lowest point on the graph, it's called a minimum. If it's the highest point, it's called the maximum. And in this example right here, you can see it's the lowest point on the graph, so that would be a minimum. In this graph picture right here, the vertex is actually right here, which is the maximum because it is the highest point on the parabola. How do you compare widths of parabolas? If you take a look at this picture, you're going to have to do some inferring on your own, but here you have three different types of parabolas, and we have y equals 5x here, or 5x squared, I should say. Then you have the 0.1 or 1/10 x squared, and then you have a negative x squared. So I want you to just pause the video for a second and make observations as to what you notice about those numbers, that a term. Remember, we're talking about y equals ax squared, so it's that a term. What are things that you're noticing that change the parent function? So go ahead, take a second, jot those down. All right, it is your turn. Please find the vertex for each of these, label it as a coordinate point, and then tell me if that is a minimum or a maximum. So you got two questions to do there. Pause the video and then turn it back on when you're done. And the answers are listed here for you. If you have any questions, be sure you ask me. This is the end of your video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.